time, I'm going to turn it over to Travis to introduce our speaker tonight.
Thank you, Richard.
Hey, y'all. My name's Travis. I'm an alcoholic. Hey. And yeah, Richard asked me to introduce Troy tonight, and I am greatly honored to do so. So I've been working with Troy for about 2 years. I've had a front row seat at a freaking miracle. This guy from the beginning, I'm sorry, Troy, you were a desperate case. And seeing you grow this much and seeing what it looks like to work through the steps, to see someone really do this program is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. Amen. And I just want to say, we love you, Troy, and we can't wait to hear your story tonight. So let's give it up for Troy.
I'm Troy, I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Troy.
Yeah, I'm a freaking drunk, man. I thought I had my mind right, but then I look down here and see this little recording, this little demonic recording device right here, and it made me all nervous and stuff. But anyway, yeah, like Travis said, I was a completely desperate case when I first walked into this room right here. I had a serious problem with alcohol. I could not stop drinking, no matter how bad it got. I couldn't stop walking down the street to the store and getting more. You know what I mean? It was an endless cycle. I was living over off 1960 during the last few years of my drinking and everything. And, the point I found myself at was like 100% hopeless, completely hopeless. And I couldn't see any light at all at the end of the tunnel when I first walked into this room and picked up a desire chip either. So I'm extremely grateful right now. I had no freaking idea that I'd be standing up here telling everyone how I got sober a few years later. You know what I mean? 100% hopeless, just complete darkness or whatever. The night before I walked into this room and picked up my 24-hour chip, I had to get out of where I was living over off 1960. So I called up my folks, and I didn't tell them the extent of what was going on. Like, I'm literally about to die from drinking or whatever. But I just told them, I was like, I've been having some serious anxiety problems or whatever, and I just need a change of scenery for a little while. Can I come crash at y'all's place for a couple nights or whatever? And they were like, sure, or whatever. So I left here, and I went over to their place, and I had some gabapentin that I got from a doctor at a couple months before I really hit my bottom and stopped drinking. I had this doctor's appointment at Harris Center Mental Health, and it was for my mental health because I was psychotic, and during my drunk nights or whatever, I often would have these episodes of homicidal anger or whatever, in which would result in me calling the mental health crisis line and stuff. I can't tell you how many nights I called the mental health crisis line because I was drunk and homicidal or whatever. But so I had an appointment over here. Or whatever, and I had to drink 3 Cobra malt liquors just to get myself stable enough to get in the frickin' Uber and get to the appointment. And then I had a backpack with me with another 6-pack of Cobra malt liquor in it to bring to the doctor's appointment with me, just in case, you know what I mean? There's no telling what kind of shit might pop off or whatever. My last experience when I didn't drink any, I ended up in the ER or whatever, so, had to take precautions. But, So I sit down in here, and she starts asking me questions about my mental diagnosis and what's going on with my mental health and stuff, and what kind of medications and stuff. And I was like, well, I don't know what the deal is with the mental stuff because I can't freaking stop drinking right now. So I don't know because I've been drunk for the past I don't know how long straight. So in order to know if I need medication or not, I've got to have a little bit of time of not being drunk and then see how my mental health is when I'm not drunk or whatever. And she was like, well, you're in luck. I just happen to be an expert on helping people quit drinking or whatever. And I really don't think she's an expert or whatever, but she was better. She was better than anything else that I had access to or what was available to me during the time. And she was like, "Here, I'll prescribe you some gabapentin. It's an anticonvulsant. It'll prevent you from having seizures and stuff while you're detoxing from alcohol or whatever." And so I got the gabapentin or whatever, and I just threw it in a shoebox or whatever that I used to keep some of my death metal CDs in or whatever, and forgot it was there until I needed a CD out of there one night. But so I drank for like another 6 months after that doctor's appointment before I got to the point like when I say I drank for another 6 months, I mean like I'm getting drunk as soon as I wake up in the morning and get drinking all throughout the day, and then at the end of the day before Walmart closes, had to stumble over there for one last trip to get a few 6-packs of malt liquor in case I wake up in the middle of the night with a hangover or something like that. And after so long of that kind of living, like I found myself in a place of severe, like really deep depression and anxiety. And, where I was living over off 1960 or whatever, it's not like the greatest scenery or whatever, you know what I mean? There's a bench in front of Walmart that is on some grass. So there's a little bit of grass right there. So when I would get really bad anxiety, sometime I would just go sit on that bench and smoke cigarettes and look at Walmart for a couple minutes and see if it helps break the anxiety or depression. Well, this last time, I got up in the middle of, I had a horrible hangover in the middle of the day, like undescribable. And, I was like, oh my gosh. So I went and sat on the bench in front of Walmart, and, so I'm sitting there looking at Walmart, and I was literally at the point, like, I don't know how to explain how deep it was, but I couldn't feel like any kind of good feelings at all anymore. Not like even the slightest spark of like anything that's even remotely like any kind of positivity. Like I was 100% fully like stuck down under or whatever in this like tunnel or whatever. And I remember after that day, like I think when I was sitting there that day, that's when I was like, I don't care what I have to do tomorrow. Like I will call the cops and make them arrest me so I can't go to the store and get more freaking alcohol or whatever. I cannot live this way one more day. I would literally rather die than live this way one more day or whatever. So that's when I made that call to my folks and went over there, started taking the gabapentin as prescribed. I'm not lying, like I really actually did take it as prescribed when I was detoxing from alcohol. Probably the first time in my life I took something as prescribed or whatever. But anyway, I think I was basically just bedridden or whatever you would call it for a week, just sweating my ass off in bed or whatever, and I wasn't like really in good enough condition to even be able to leave the house for about a week. And after about a week, I think that's when, I perked up. I perked up enough that I was awake, but I still was just like I had that anxiety and I'm completely on edge and stuff, and I didn't have the alcohol for the first time. I didn't have the alcohol to try to smooth that out or whatever. And, I'm still at the point where I'd rather, like, die than continue to drink. But all I knew was go to the store and get some more, you know what I mean? So I'm in the backyard, and I'm, like, sitting there chain smoking a pack of cigarettes. And I'm in that tunnel, like, completely hopeless or whatever. Like, I thought it was the end of the road for me. I can't accomplish anything. My whole life completely destroyed. Like, this is the end, but I don't know like what to do or whatever. And I somehow ended up, I don't know what, but it crossed my mind. maybe there's not really much else to do other than maybe try going to an AA meeting. It'll at least get you out of the house for an hour or something. So I called over here, and like some cool lady answered the phone. I don't know who she was. I think it was Becky that ended up moving to Arizona because she was chairing the meeting that night. But she was like cool or whatever, and like, so I had her on the phone, and she's like, yeah, we got a meeting at 7 o'clock and stuff like that. And it had been so long since I had like talked to another human being that I literally tried to like stand there and wanted to talk to her for like 15 minutes about like, tell her my whole life story, and like, oh yeah, and I tried to quit drinking a week ago, and I don't want to start drinking again, and this and that. And she was just nice, though. She didn't end up being like, all right, well, just shut up and come to the friggin' meeting or whatever, you know. But I came over here. It was a Wednesday night 12 and 12 study of March 10, 2021. And Becky was chairing. Katie was in here, and she's got the voice of a frickin' 100-watt Marshall tube amplifier or whatever. I really should get her on some vocals with one of my projects these days. But sat next to her or whatever, and you know, when I walked in here, I was like, crap, man, these people are going to be looking at me like I'm trash. This girl right here is going to be complaining about how I smell and this and that, and just all kinds of stuff. But I was really just like, at the point, I was like, screw it. I was just so destroyed. It didn't even matter. It didn't even matter. And it was a literature study, and the 12 and 12 is really complicated if you're first sobering up or whatever. Like, just really technical stuff, man. And so I had no idea what anyone was talking about or sharing. I volunteered to share at some point, and I was just kind of like, hey, I'm Troy, and I'm an alcoholic. I have a serious drinking problem, and I don't want to start drinking again, is basically what I said, I think. And I picked up a chip at the end of the meeting, but like sitting in that meeting, I had that hopelessness. Nothing had ever worked for me to stay. So I had been to rehab multiple times, you know, got gung-ho about sobriety for a few months, impressed a bunch of people because I'm always sharing all this awesome stuff and everything like that. And, you know, just go back out again, worse than ever every time. Nothing ever worked. I've been to jails, institutions, and everything. And, so, you know, came to the meeting, and after the meeting or whatever, I'm outside smoking a cigarette, and I run into Travis or whatever. Him and Bev came out, and Travis is wearing like this nice polo shirt and stuff like that. And I was literally like, my perception during the time was literally like, geez, these people are like members of a golf country club or something. You know what I mean? I was like, I got these golf country club members and stuff coming up and talking to me. But he was pretty cool. He said to me, hey, nice shirt. You listen to metal or whatever? And I was like, yeah, I freaking listen to metal. You know what I mean? And we just started talking some. He was like, hey, give me your number, man. So I gave him my number, and we swapped numbers and stuff. And, you know, I ended up making it through the night sober. And I didn't drink. And I got another guy's number too that night. So I had two guys' numbers or whatever. And, you know, I was in a rough spot detoxing. Like, I had to drink like 5 sodas throughout the meeting to try to stabilize that sugar thing or whatever so you don't start shaking and stuff. And, you know, I started calling Travis and him every night or whatever, and started coming over here. Got a couple more guys' numbers. Steve Wilkins is here tonight or whatever. He's one of the guys that I called every day when I was in early sobriety or whatever. Yeah, I was completely desperate. Like, I didn't care about anything but being over here and, you know, trying to stay sober for my first while. You know, the longer I get sober, the more I have like these high-class problems and stuff, and I tend to get comfortable and forget like this state and, you know, what I really came from. So sometimes what works for me to stay grateful is, you know, rewind to like when I came in here and I had that big, serious alcohol problem, you know what I mean? Because it didn't go away. It did not go away. I'm a lot closer to a drink than I think I am. The big, serious, life-threatening alcohol problem I came in here with is still there. It just, you know, the way my brain works or whatever. It seems to have shrunken, or it's like less powerful or whatever. But I'm real careful. I try to be real careful and like keep my guard up today. You know what I mean? So that's one of the reasons I'm real grateful to be here doing this tonight, and not drinking or doing something else. There was a show that one of my favorite local bands was playing at tonight, and they have a new album that just came out that they were going to be selling the CDs of it at the show tonight, and I had been planning on going to that for a couple months, but when Richard asked me to do this, I was just like, screw the show, you know what I mean? Like the people who know I go to all kinds of cool shows, see all these sick bands and stuff like that, but like the thing is, the reason I can do that stuff today and have a good time doing it and not give a crap about drinking or anything is because of coming and doing this instead of going to a show. My first 8 months, I didn't give a crap about shows. You know what I mean? I was still I was so torn down. I didn't give a crap about shows, what bands were playing, none of that stuff. All I cared about was my recovery. So that's what I put before everything. And so I try to still do that and everything. So I'm grateful to be over here instead of the show, even though I'm kind of like, I told my boys, man, grab me a copy of that CD or whatever. But when my alcoholism first kicked off, there's a lot of stuff I can't share. I've had a pretty rocky road throughout my life, but when my drinking first really kicked off or whatever, it was a long time ago, but I was in a really bad spot. I had a different addiction for a little while, which was horrible. So I find myself sitting there, chain smoking cigarettes. All my guitars are in the freaking pawn shop, and I had nothing, man. I had nothing, and I got a bottle of vodka, and I drank the bottle of vodka or whatever, and I realized, oh, dude, alcohol's freaking awesome, dude. As long as I stay drunk, I don't have to do the other stuff anymore, you know what I mean? So I didn't even see alcohol as a drug, because it doesn't make me pawn stuff or do any of that. It might make me get on Facebook and make a couple terroristic threats. I might cuss a couple people out for no reason and stuff, but I mean, at least I'm not going to the pawn shop and pawning my guitars and stuff. So I from that day forward, I just stayed as drunk as I could possibly get. There were a couple times that it got pretty rough because I wasn't able to financially support the amount of alcohol that I desire to consume when I'm in active alcoholism. But so I'm getting drunk every day. All my guitars had been in the pawn. You guys, anyone that knows me knows how I am or whatever. I'm a freaking electric guitar guy or whatever. Electric guitar is the best invention on the planet. But so I'm getting wasted. I finally get a new guitar and go to jail for a felony in that order or whatever, dude. So that freaking sucked. That sucked. I had just gotten a badass new Jackson with sick EMG pickups in it. Locking tremolo and all that fancy crap. It was badass. Pearl inlay fretboard and stuff. Then, I go straight to freaking jail for this felony or whatever. So I'm sitting in the holding tank, oh man, I got this sick new guitar. Now I'm stuck in here and this and that. You know what I mean? And that sucked or whatever. But yeah, I just it's been completely insane. Like the road I've had and where I'm at today as a result of this program. Like this thing really saved my let's see where we're at. Crap, it's only 7:23. But yeah, man. So one of the things about this place though is I came in here and everyone is completely different than me. Everyone is completely different than me. I'm looking around and I'm like, Jesus, dude, these people look like they listen to frickin' Taylor Swift or something. I mean, no offense, Matt. Matt's got a Taylor Swift shirt on right now. But I look around and I saw that, and just I noticed all kinds of stuff. Like I said, the freaking golf country club thing. I was like, dude, this is like a golf. I stick out like a sore thumb over here. It's like a freaking golf country club or something. But like my second meeting. No, it wasn't my second meeting. I forget. It was like my third meeting or something because it was on a Friday. It was like birthday night or something because I remember this night. It was my third meeting, I think, and I'm over here and it's freaking birthday night. And like, dude, I'm looking around and like I'm seeing. I could literally like feel a freedom coming off these people. Like they weren't having to deal with the consequences of drinking that I had during the time, they weren't having hangovers and stuff. They were all friends. They were all like joined together and all happy, laughing, joking around and stuff, and I guess pretty quirky group or whatever. I'm probably the most flawful. I probably have the most flaws here, but I was like, to be compared to what I came from, like to be a part of this would be pretty nice or whatever. And I dove all the way in. I just dove in, and I remember one day that had a huge impact on me was Lester and Christy had a barbecue one week or whatever, and I got invited to it, and I remember, playing. What's that game called? Freaking cornhole or whatever it is. Playing cornhole with blue shirt and stuff like that. And him telling me about how it's about, fellowship, not about winning and stuff like that. But going over there that day, like doing a cool barbecue like outside of the meetings rooms and stuff like that day really like changed my life or whatever. Because that day, like, I think that was one of the best feeling days of my life or whatever, just being out there, staying sober, I'm not having a drink isn't on my freaking mind, I'm not having to fight myself today. I'm not having to fight myself to not go to the store and get alcohol or whatever today, you know what I mean? That's a big thing. I don't know when it happened, but like that's where there's a higher power or whatever, because I've been to rehab multiple times before. I've had little couple month stints of sobriety and stuff, and every single time I had those, like it was like I always had to exert like some amount of energy or something to stop myself from going to the store and drinking. Like it was literally a struggle to stay sober or whatever. And one of the gifts I got from coming in here or whatever and sitting down or whatever is it's not something I have to like. I mean, if I stopped coming to meetings for a long time and got like really toxic and was doing like horrible stuff or something outside of here or whatever, it might get bad. But like I don't have to struggle to not go to the store and drink. Like when I'm driving home at night, I'm like thinking about what horror movies I'm going to watch or whatever, planning out like, I'm going to bust out the axe and get some sick riffs going or something like that. You know what I mean? I'm not like, oh crap, I'm about to drive past this store. God, please help me make it past here without stopping and getting beer or whatever. You know what I mean? It's not like that anymore. Like this program has given me relief and freedom from that, and that's the true gift. That's the true gift. I have a lot of days when most days there's a lot of stuff that pisses me off like crazy. You know what I mean? Definitely, I fell off my pink cloud at the 5-month mark or whatever. I had a little grace period after I first sobered up for 5 months where it was like, oh my God, I'm finally sober. I can't believe I'm finally sober. This is freaking amazing, man. Life is so amazing and stuff. And I'm kind of like in this little la-la land. Then when I remember the night I picked up my 5-month chip or whatever, there was a little bit of turmoil starting to brew in the back of my mind and stuff, and I was starting to get angry and get agitated again and stuff, and I started learning that just because I'm sober, I'm not going to feel like good all the time, But honestly, the times that I've gone through in sobriety that have been the hardest, like one of the hardest times I've gone through in sobriety so far was when I quit smoking cigarettes. When I quit smoking cigarettes, I literally hated everyone and everything. I was completely enraged, like just full brewing with hatred for like a good amount of time straight. Like it was so bad. I completely stopped coming to meetings for like a month. I was so pissed off or whatever. I don't know what I thought in my head everyone was doing to me, but I was freaking pissed, man. And but that was a really hard time. And the thing is, though, during that time, because of how bad I was, like I couldn't turn to people. For other people for help or relief or this or that. So every single day, I literally had to get down and try praying. That was the only place I had to turn to. There was nothing else I could do. I couldn't call anyone because I thought, oh, this person's a friggin' whatever, and that person or whatever, you know what I mean? All I could do is try to turn to a higher power. And through making it through that experience, sober and everything, that really strengthened my connection with the higher power. It like brought it to a whole different kind of level that I couldn't explain before and stuff. And one thing, I guess for new, like you come in here, like when I came in here, I heard everyone talking about God this, God that. My life is so great today, and it's because of God, man. And I'm just like, okay, also looked at the steps, and I was like, all this crap sounds a little bit unrealistic. I'm glad it works for them. I don't know if it'll work for me, but coming to the meetings and like calling people and doing AA stuff is working pretty good for me right now. And I literally, for the first while of my sobriety, I literally just stayed sober off coming to meetings, working the steps with a sponsor, and doing AA-related activities and stuff. And I know all kinds of different people with all kind long-term sobriety and everything that, some of them don't even like believe in God or whatever, and have stayed sober for a long time. So I don't want to scare any of the new people off, like me being up here talking about like a higher power and stuff like that. I've had my own journey. I have a higher power today that I have guiding me and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I've seen some people come in here and they don't know. I don't know how to explain it or whatever. That it doesn't mean you have to go to church and this and that to get sober and be able to stay sober. Just for me, it was just continuing to come back and taking suggestions, and that eventually led me to having a connection with a power greater than myself, later down the line. It took me a while. It took me a while to get the kind of connection I have today or whatever, but it came, you know what I mean? And so just, I'd suggest just come to meetings, do AA stuff or whatever, and don't be like, oh, can't do this or that because I am an atheist or believe this or believe that or something like that. Because I was really far gone when I came in here, really far gone. After me and Travis did my first step, he took me to a Starbucks. He took me to a freaking Starbucks when we went over my first step or whatever. I was still detoxing and I was still shaky and stuff like that. And he got me one of those white chocolate mochas, dude. And dude, I drank that thing and I was like, shit, I think I'm going to have a seizure. I couldn't handle that. I couldn't handle it when I was detoxing or whatever. But anyways, I managed to keep it together enough for the ride home. So he's driving me home, and he asked me the question. He drops the question. He's like, so do you believe in God? And I was just like, crap. Why do you have to ask that? There's 100 other things that would be better to talk about right now than that, or whatever. But really inside during that time, I had felt that I had gone so low. I felt that I had gone so low that even if there was a God, I couldn't be heard, and that I had gone so low that I couldn't get helped by God, even if there was a God or whatever. And That's how I felt inside, but I lied and said yes, because he was like all gung-ho about the God thing. Like, I went to rehab and I found this God thing and I was just all about it, man. And I was just like, cool, all right, cool. But, you know, today things are on a whole different level. I mean, I'm extremely grateful for I know I give them hard times, but I'm really grateful for Travis and Bev. Like, there have been times where I love Travis and Beverly to death. There have been times when I've been just having a really hard time or whatever. I've gone through some pretty rough points in my sobriety with just like mental health and just learning how to live amongst people and just all kinds of stuff, some really rough times that I've been able to, Travis has just let me, you know, come over and have a cup of coffee and just like air out some, you know what I mean, and allow me to just, you know, kind of come air out and just be somewhere that's not like, I guess, isolating or whatever and staying in my head and stuff like that. And, you know, now we've been working together for over 2 years. Now we get together and grill and watch horror movies almost every weekend. Any weekend there's no sick metal shows going on or whatever, I hit up Travis and I'm like, hey, what's up? You want to do some grilling tonight or whatever? I know this sick movie we can rent or whatever and stuff. And he's like, yeah, man, come on over and stuff. So I'm real grateful for, you know, the support I've got in this room and everyone in this room. And, you know, real grateful for all of you putting up with me. I'm pretty sure there are times when it's kind of like, I'm sure like I haven't intentionally tried to get under anyone's skin over here, but I'm pretty sure there's no way that I've been able to come over here and get sober and stay sober this long from the point I was at to where I'm at now without like people seriously having to tolerate like some agitation towards me or something like that, you know. And I share in meetings and stuff, and sometimes I might not always share the brightest stuff, but you know, just coming and staying plugged in and trying to, you know, stay planted in this thing. That's my thing. I want to try to stay completely planted in this program regardless of what I've got going on outside of here, because you know, I've been in a lot of being like a musician and stuff like that, and you know, metal head or headbanger or whatever. You know, I've been in a lot of places where I'm completely surrounded by like alcohol and marijuana and stuff like that. And you know, this one time, there was one night where after it, I freaked myself out. I was like, "What am I thinking?" You know, I'm like a freaking alcoholic. Why? Was it really very intelligent to go put myself in that? Like, what if I had, like, not been a little bit sketchy that night and ended up, you know, like, picking up that beer or taking a hit of a joint or something? And it just kind of freaked me out. Thankfully, I had been all meetinged up and stuff. I had already been to, like, 4 or 5 meetings that week, you know, sharing, talking, calling people and stuff, working with Travis and stuff. I was, like, in a solid place or whatever, but I was just... It kind of slapped me into reality a little bit. Like, dude, you're an alcoholic. You know what? You may be doing all good and be in a comfortable place in your sobriety right now, but you're closer to a drink than you think you are. You know what I mean? So since that night, I've just been real big on trying to stay completely planted in this program or whatever, so that, you know, I can continue to live the life I live outside of here and not have to drink. You know, the quality of my life has changed big time since I've been sober. And let's check the time or whatever. I got a text from Christian Aries. He wasn't able to make it tonight. He's telling me, pray and bring God with you and stuff like that. It sounds wonderful, man. But... yeah, I freaking love this place. This is the room I got sober in. This room, so it's an honor to be able to stand up here and talk to you guys tonight or whatever. Because, you know, March 10, 2021, I was where I was, and I walked up here and picked up that desire chip or whatever, having no idea I'd be up here telling everyone how I got sober or whatever. So, yeah, it's definitely like an honor. I know I've been kind of freaked out about it, like telling people, I don't know how it's going to go and this and that, but it's good, man. I've actually got some traction today. I've been trying to start. So I've been trying to start this sick death metal band for a really long time, right? Yeah, ever since I was in a halfway house before my last drinking bender, and I was 6 months sober. I came up with this idea. I was going to start a death metal band by the name of a name I maybe should not mention, or whatever. And there's a lot of bad behavior connected to that name too. After my last drinking bender, but I was just a mess. I didn't realize like how difficult of a person I actually was to get along with, and like how much of a D head or whatever you want to call it. We try to watch our language a little bit in here, but how much of a D head I was until I started working the steps with Travis and slowly developed the ability to look at my behavior, which is still not perfect, but I'm working on it. But anyways. I've been trying to start this sick death metal band forever or whatever. And then this last drinking bender I went on just completely destroyed everything like 10 times over or whatever. I had completely cursed out, even made death threats towards anyone who could have been a possible bandmate of mine and stuff, and burned down all my bridges bad. And, now today, a little over 2 years sober, I've actually got people like drummers and stuff hitting me up to jam that I've literally had to like put off because I'm busy going to meetings and working out. You know what I mean? Like, I have this buddy. He's a cool drummer, and I see him at shows and stuff like that. His name is Juan. He's a super cool guy, or whatever. And he's been hitting me up to jam all the time. But it's always, when I'm like smack dab in the middle of meetings, and then. I've been working out all week, and I'm really immersed in this exercise routine and this and that. And it's like, I'm sorry, man, I've been busy. Maybe we can do it this weekend. So now I'm literally like having to blow people off and stuff like that. Now that I'm sober for a little while and stuff. So the table's completely freaking turned, man. The table's completely turned, getting sober and getting into this thing. But, sorry, I'm so used to only having 3 minutes. When they only give me 3 minutes to share, when they only give me 3 minutes to be able to share, or else I'll get cut off. And like, I hate getting cut off. Like, it's so humiliating when you're sharing in a meeting, you're into your share, you got this good, and then they freaking cut you off, and you feel like you're so stupid in front of everyone and stuff like that. So I'm like, I have like PTSD. I have this PTSD that literally automatically makes me limit it to 3 minutes now, so I don't get cut off or whatever. But I'm used to only having 3 minutes, and when they only give me 3 minutes, I've got like an infinite amount of stuff that I seriously want to share, but I have to pack it in 3 minutes. Now I get up here and they give me a whole freaking hour, and I'm like, darn, what the heck do I say, man? But I don't know, we might have to wrap it up sometime soon. I'm ready for a piece of gum and a cup of coffee, man. That's another thing, I quit smoking in my sobriety. So like, obviously we want to focus on getting sober when we first get in here. Like, when during the time I quit smoking, there were a couple newer guys in here that were smokers or whatever, and they saw me quitting smoking. Oh yeah, I need to start working on quitting too. And after what I went through, quitting smoking, I'm like, no, do not worry about it yet. Focus on your freaking sobriety for now, man. You know what I mean? Because the crap I went through quitting smoking, like if I would have gone through that in earlier sobriety, there's no way, because I needed to like feel. When I was in earlier sobriety, I needed to be able to feel like the loving feelings and the supportive feelings and stuff like that. When you quit smoking, although you don't get that loving feelings and stuff like that, it's pure hate, pure hatred. You know what I mean? So I definitely, the newer guys, unless they were literally about to like die from like smoking themselves to death, let's just focus on the alcohol for now, man. Let's just focus on the alcohol for now, or whatever. But anyway, after quitting smoking, and I recently quit eating sweets, which for an alcoholic, that's darn near as bad as quitting smoking is, or whatever. And I got the darn waffle maker going this morning or whatever. And when I get on the waffle maker, my alcoholic behavior comes out. I can't stop making freaking waffles. You know, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm the only one up. I'm the only one eating them. But I fire up that waffle maker, and dude, I make like 16 freaking huge waffles or whatever. And it's completely unreasonable. No one else is even eating any of them. So it's just like, you know, I still go into that alcoholic behavior, even with the alcohol out of the picture. There's this one time, one of the worst. So there have been a couple times. That's another thing in sobriety is, you know, your relationship with your family or whatever, and family members and stuff, and getting that balanced back out, which there's no way to like push it to balance back out. It just kind of has to happen naturally. But there have been a couple times I've had to like go over to Travis's house and cool off or whatever because like a big family thing that hit the fan or what, a heated family thing that happened. And this is going to sound stupid. But one of the worst, most intense, heated family feuds that ended up happening at the house since I've been sober was when my mom looked in my closet and discovered that I had 65 packs of pasta and like 50 boxes of macaroni and cheese. I was like stocking up for the apocalypse. I don't know what it is, but somewhere subconsciously I have this fear of running out of pasta. You know, like almost as bad as if you wake up with a hangover in the middle of the night and don't have any freaking beer left or whatever, man. But anyways, so she finds this, she basically finds that I've turned my closet into a pantry or whatever. I guess normal people put clothes in their pantry. I fold mine up and put them like next to the bed or something. I don't use my closet for clothes, you know what I mean? But she was completely not like cool with me having a stash. She went into jealous anger that I had a sick pasta stash in my closet and she didn't. You know what I mean? I think she was just jealous. I don't know why you would get that mad about your son having that much pasta. It's like, you see the direction the world's going in? Like, this shit's gonna save the family when crap hits the fan. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, but that when she found that, like, it got way carried away from like having just started with her seeing what the use I was making of my closet or whatever. Like, it got bad. Curse words were yelling. Curse words were exchanged and stuff, and you know, thankfully that doesn't happen anymore. After a couple talks with Travis after times when it got pretty bad or whatever. It's been a long time since that happened. I don't curse at my parents anymore, but I definitely need to watch my use of the F-bomb around the house. Because I use it like not pissed off or calling someone the F-bomb or whatever. I say it all the time. I'm still working on it. But, let's see. We got 7:47. So I don't know. I'm gonna wrap it up. I get ready to wrap it up with. I'm real grateful to be here tonight and not drinking and be able to be in the room. I got sober and got this foundation and stuff, and a lot of everyone in. I'm grateful for everyone in here that's been a part of this. Through thick and thin, through when I hate you and when I don't hate you and everything. You know, they say, I've heard a saying before, if you've never gotten a resentment towards someone else in AA, you're not going to enough meetings. Or whatever. So I know I'm good. I know I'm good on my meeting attendance. My meeting attendance is solid. Ask Travis. But oh yeah. So anyways, I would encourage everyone to definitely help eat up the food we have over here. But if anyone's got an appetite left after this, Travis was talking about going to Czar's. If anyone wants to go, for some reason I held saying this in earlier. I don't know if I should say it. I didn't realize how it was gonna sound or whatever. But I was gonna be like, dude. Ron brought like a whole hot dog maker or whatever if anyone wants to enjoy some nice, wonderful wieners.
I love that.
But, yeah, anyways, so, I'm grateful for everyone who came out tonight and to see everyone tonight and this and that. Man, this is killer, like good, you know. And don't worry, like even sober, you know, I didn't have to like give up my hobby. I love jamming out on the electric guitar and stuff. I didn't have to give that stuff up to stay sober. That's one of the huge blessings about this thing is I can still do what I love today without alcohol being involved. You know, like when I was drinking, I had to be drunk. I had to be drinking. Anytime I would pick up the guitar, I had to be drinking or whatever. And that sucks because considering, you know, when I'm drunk, it makes me play like crap. Like, it makes me play like crap when I'm drunk, dude, like that. And I've definitely done a lot of really embarrassed myself as like a guitar player and stuff during my drinking career. But, you know, I can do the stuff I love today, go to shows and stuff without alcohol having to be intertwined with it anymore. You know, I'm sure a lot of people in here could probably relate to me, like you had some kind of hobby or something like that you love doing, and when you're getting sober, you're like, well, shit, man, how the hell am I going to do this now? Like, man, I need a couple beers while I'm doing this and that. You know, dude, all I need today is a sick axe, a good cup of coffee, and, dude, I'm ready to shut some shit down, man. Anyway, sorry about my language, a lack of profanity will offend no one. We're big on not cursing over here. I know it sounds preppy or whatever, but believe me, over time, it definitely begins to benefit your spiritual walk. I just don't do it while I'm sharing in the meetings or whatever, usually. But I guess I'll go ahead and shut up. I've surpassed my 3-minute, my allotted 3 minutes or whatever. Thanks for giving me an hour to talk to you guys.
Still recording? Oh yeah, I think I accidentally.